Welcome to Real Estate U with Lettiann.
Welcome back to Real Estate U with Lettiann, and we're delighted to have Jeff Cate back with us. Jeff, thank you for this second episode.
You are very welcome, Lettiann. Thanks for having us on.
I feel like I'm talking with a DJ. So he's really trumping me, so I'm really going to
right.
No, you can trump me all you want. So first of all, Cate's auction. Sorry, Andy's laughing at me for some reason. I'm not sure exactly why, but it could be the 5 o'clock funnies. So Cate's auction, been around for 40 years. Your grandfather started this company in 1942. If I add the math, though, that's far more than 40.
That's okay. 77 years, yeah.
Oh, 4 generations?
Yes.
77 years.
Right.
So tune into the first podcast because there was a great history of the story of your grandfather and how that all got started. So we're trying to convey how the auction process with Cate's, again, supporting local businesses here in the Kansas City metro area. Cate's is an asset to sellers, buyers, and realtors. So we kind of covered that in the first episode. And not all properties, again, in the first episode, are good candidates for a property auction. And again, this is not an auction of a tax auction on the courthouse steps. This is not a foreclosure. This is not generally a distressed property. This
Correct.
isn't, well, we're going to buy it sight unseen and we need to have all our mattress full of money there and then run, So we've dispelled some of those myths. And I'm a huge fan, and I just dying to do a deal with you, but everyone I've sent you, they're not good candidates, but I'll get one. And we've talked about what a good candidate means. So now we also learned that you don't do the calling and people aren't standing in the lawn and under a nice big tent sipping champagne waiting for the auction to begin, although that's in my head, that's what I see.
Sure.
So I've given you, and I'm of course a broker owner, I'm a realtor. So in my efforts to assist my seller and my client, if I think it might be a good candidate for an auction, I immediately call Cate's, and they do the assessment of that. Let's say it is a good candidate, Jeff, and my seller's on board. Can you walk us through the steps, please?
Yeah, so we're going to walk through first the needs, objectives, and expectations to make sure that it is a good fit for our model. We're going to do a market analysis to make sure that the seller's expectations, that we believe those are in line with what the market may deliver. And then basically, I think I'd mentioned to you that about 2 out of 10 properties fit the model. And the reason for that is that sometimes expectations may be out of line. Mm-hmm. But when they're in line like this one, then basically there's a 1 to 2 week process where we're going to bring our crew in. We hire a professional photographer. We bring in the drones to shoot the drone videos. And then our marketing team puts together a customized marketing program for the seller's property that's targeting the demographic that we believe fits who the buyer pool is.
This is me raising my hand. Instead of interrupting you, I have a question.
Yes.
So and this is for our real estate professionals out there. So as I said, I called Jeff, or I connected with someone in his office, and now that they've said this property is a good candidate, and we've had a meeting with the sellers, and likely I would be welcome to go there.
Absolutely.
Of course. So this is a referral for my real estate professional friends and those watching. I've just referred now this property to Cate's, of which there will be a referral fee. So I just wanted to reiterate that.
Yeah, so the referral fee would be paid out at closing.
Gotcha.
So the marketing obviously is the key. Creating a compelling marketing message, especially for a property that's already been on the market before, to breathe new life into that listing, to engage those eyeballs on the website, to generate that activity and urgency. So for that 30-day period, once we've created the marketing program, we're going to be hitting all the components of the different media mix that we use, from signs to nice 4-color brochures to the online bidding platform to shooting video, marketing through Facebook and Google ads, as well as potentially local newspaper, and the good old signs that people are still driving around seeing. And so we try to cover all the bases and then target into that specific demographic that we believe the buyer is for that particular property. And as you know today, with social media and digital marketing, you can serve up an ad to that target no matter where they are on the internet or what they're doing.
And I just lost my train of thought. Sorry. But I was going to say time is of the essence, because my brain already went to my next question. So the first question in my head was, you've come up with a marketing program. Now you've done the marketing. It's ready to be implemented because we've got 30 days now. So,
that's correct.
So time is of the essence. So this won't sit and I hope it sells and I hope somebody bids on it. No, it's boots on the ground. We've got 30 days. Let's go.
Right.
Okay.
And for the seller, it's selling in its present condition on the terms and timeline that the seller chooses to simplify that process. So it's not contingent upon inspections, appraisal, or financing. In that 30-day period of marketing, it gives the buyers the property information packets and the due diligence that they need to make a good informed buying decision at their fingertips. And so you'd mentioned about your idea of the auction on site with the champagne. Now they can just stay in their jammies on their sofa and bid from their home office or mobile device.
That's no fun. So, but okay, let's talk about the buyer. Now she's in his jam, or their jams, and maybe they're even in New York considering moving to Kansas City, and they're like, hey, look at this cool
Absolutely.
property. How do you know they're pre-approved?
So, if they're getting financing, we normally request, like most realtors do, and that's a pre-approval letter.
Through your program of someone who's interested in the property, it's all online?
Right.
Or it's in your app?
It's all online, and we do have an app.
Chandler
that's correct.
was telling me, and I want to get that app information, because that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So going online and registering to bid, part of that process is, qualification and qualifying the buyer and making sure that they're financially being able to close on this property. Mm-hmm. The biggest requirement is non-refundable earnest money deposit. And so if a buyer is going to bid on most of our properties, if they're the winning bidder, it's 5 to 10% down. And that would be escrowed wired to the escrow company immediately following the auction, and then closing on the property in approximately 30 days.
So no one needs to come with cash or cashier's check. Well, they're not coming. I forgot. They're watching online.
Correct.
So they have an excellent number of hours to get the earnest to that non-refundable earnest of 5 to 10% to the title company specified. And that's after they've won
the bid.
Correct. Okay.
But so for the bidders engaged in the process, we're communicating with them. They can answer questions, whether it be online or by phone or by email. We try to make sure, obviously, the more informed the buyer is in knowing what they're buying, the more money they're going to pay for the property because they know what they're going to get. So we do, and also one of the myths is that when you're buying at auction that there's not a warranty, or when you're buying at auction, there's not a disclosure. So we provide all that information in our property information packet, seller's disclosure, warranty information on the property, to make them feel more confident in what they're buying.
Unlike the myth of this is a courthouse steps and you won't be able to see the property. So let's say they're not in New York, but they are here in the Kansas City area. There are opportunities in those 30 days to view the property in person. Is that right?
That is correct. Okay. Their agent can show the property whenever it's convenient for them. We have a lockbox, go through the showing service, and they can show the property, or they can come to one of 2 open houses that we normally do that are 2-hour periods, on a weekend. So they can come and view the property there as well.
What happens next? So we've got the marketing. We are now on the 30-day ticker. What if I just want to watch what's going on? I don't necessarily, now I'm so into this. I want to watch, I want to know the final hour and is there like a little ticker and you can see like Bobby just bid $1 million?
Yeah, absolutely. You sure can.
So you can just watch
It's
without
transparent.
being,
That's
okay,
right. You
okay.
can watch the auction. It's transparent. All you have to do is register to bid, and then you can watch, and you'll see the bids go up. You're not going to see somebody's name on there. They're going to have a bidder number because there's just some bidders that don't
course.
makes
sense.
Want their name out there, who they are, or the next door property owner, or
Certainly.
But and what you will see is that when it comes down to the final, 30 minutes, 15 minutes is when it really starts to heat up. And it's when it's an emotional purchase, people inherently want to win.
That's the beauty of the auction.
It is. It absolutely is.
Right.
So what we see emerge from that competition is that we see market value emerge. And the beauty of it is that it works for the buyer and the seller. The buyer knows they didn't pay too much because there was a person right underneath them, the underbidder, bid one less time than they did. And the seller knows that they got the most they could get in the market because nobody was willing to outbid the high bidder. So it works very well for buyer and seller.
Are there any guarantees to the seller that they will get a minimum of blank?
Sure. So there's a variety of different...
Because that's huge if that's the case. If you can say, well, we're going to guarantee you a minimum of blank.
So let me put it a different way. We don't guarantee that if it doesn't bring this, we're going to buy it.
Right. No.
So what we do, there's three different methodologies that we draw on in our business model, and that is that a seller can choose using a reserve auction, and that's where they set a floor or minimum bid that they're not willing to accept less than.
Okay.
So if it brings $1 below that, they're not going to sell it. They'll find another way or put it back on the market or whatever. And then there's another methodology called a published reserve, where we tell the public the specific number that it has to bring in order for it to sell. And normally that needs to be a compelling number to engage bidders to want to participate. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't put a number out there in a published reserve that you didn't feel like was going to be compelling enough to generate bidder activity. Mm-hmm. So the third is it's a no reserve or an absolute sale. Well, where there's no minimum bid, no reserve, and that tells the market that the seller has made the decision that the property is going to sell at market value, and that's to the winning bidder regardless of price.
And market value is what for that absolute is what anyone's willing to pay. That's the market value.
That is correct.
Not the appraised value, not the county's value. Right. But no, and that's really neat that there are those three options. So a buyer's agent. So a buyer talks to their buyer's agent and says, hey, I've been watching this, I just noticed on Cate's that while I drove by this house and I looked it up and now I see that it's going to be auctioned November 20th. How can you help me? So the buyer's agent is not out of the equation either. Again, just letting the real estate professionals here in the Kansas City Metro know, you can bring your buyer and still accommodate them and provide value to them. How does that work for the buyer's agent?
So, as members of KCRER and Heartland MLS, all of our listings are in multiple listing service and they're active status, and buyer agents are going to see that those properties that we would have upcoming that fit their buyer's criteria. They can also, which is, you may not know this, and most people don't, that they could make an offer in advance of the auction. Oh. So nice. if an agent's representing a buyer, let's say, they've sold their home and have to be out and they don't want to wait for that 30-day end mark of the auction, they can present a pre-auction offer. We're going to present it to our seller. If our seller likes the number and it's compelling to them to accept it, they can do that, and then we cancel the auction. But most of the time they go right on through to the auction process. But as brokers and realtors, we have a fiduciary obligation to present any and all offers to our seller, and it is an opportunity to present an offer in advance or bid in the online auction.
Here's what I'm hearing. Everybody's a winner.
Absolutely.
I'm hearing that everyone in this equation is a winner. You're still providing value for your client. You're still, receiving, payment. Everyone is a winner. And the fact that it's even in MLS, you're out there just simply trying to help the consumer. And that just makes me happy.
Yeah, we're just trying to provide a service and to the
He's
agents.
so humble, isn't he, Andy? We're just trying to provide a service that my grandfather started in 1942, 77 years ago.
But I want you to know, we do love working with real estate agents. We do, and we work with them most of the time. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, our properties that sell have a buyer's agent that we're paying out a buyer agency commission on, and about 25% of our business last year was realtor referrals. So
good. So
we appreciate
remember that.
Absolutely.
For our real estate professionals out there, I'm going to say, how can I find out about what's coming on? So where does one go? Because it's just sort of exciting. I mean, the whole concept is interesting. And I know you can find a property in MLS, but that's sort of, so what status is it under?
So it is under active status.
Okay, so it doesn't scream it's an auction property.
It doesn't.
Is it in there anywhere, or just simply list? Or
So normally in the showing instructions, we're going to tell you that this is an auction, and that pre-auction offers are also considered. And then normally in the description or the remarks, we also tell them when the auction is ending and that bidding is open now. But they can also find it on our website at catesauction.com.
Okay.
Our properties are well advertised, and if you've come to our website and clicked on one of our properties, you'll probably get a retargeting ad that you're going to see some of our new upcoming real estate auctions as well. So
you probably just have followers that are so curious, because this is just a curious business.
We do. I think
I'm one of them. I'm going to say I'm going to be. I am one of them, but I want to see the final hour. I've never had the opportunity to see that.
Yeah, and we love followers. We love the likes. We love to be out there and engaging with the community and provide the service that we believe is important. And we appreciate, again, the opportunity to be here with you, Lettiann.
Yeah, and I'll ditto all of what you said, because that's why I opened the doors here at Lettiann and Associates Real Estate Services. We have about 2 or less minutes, Jeff. Well, first of all, how do we get the app on the phone? Because I saw Chandler, your son, in our green room. He's showing me that one can actually do the bidding and things on the app.
Yeah,
That's super cool.
App Store, Cates Auction.
Well, that's simple.
Just as easy as any other app out there. Yeah, so it's great. You can. It makes it a lot easier to bid and see what we've got upcoming right from your mobile device. And
that's so fun. I'm downloading it as soon as we are cut. Cates, Cates, everyone. Cates Auction, at local Kansas City business for 77 years and 4 generations. I'm so happy to meet you. Thank you so much, Jeff, for being here.
Great to meet you as well. Thank you for the opportunity, Lettiann.
Can't wait to refer you some business.
Same here.
Yay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Works both ways.
It does. Thank you so much.